What's up, everybody? Alright, so my content's for educational purposes only. Can't stress enough you guys do your own research, praise my content, and the errors you find, throw in the comments. None of us have been alive long enough to know all that transpired in the past, and none of us can live long enough to know that all there is to learn. Alright, y'all. This is part 2 of the 12 universal laws. I left off at chapter 6, which was the law of compensation. Okay? So the next one is the most, celebrated of the laws, the most popular of the laws, and that is the law of attraction. Okay, goes on to break down as follows. This is the law that seems to have the most attention right now, even though I don't understand exactly why. The fact is, you can't just pick and choose which laws to acknowledge and which ones to not acknowledge. Just like in the justice system, you can't decide to rob a bank and not kill anyone and expect to not have consequences just because you didn't act on one and you did act on the other. Maybe that was a bad example, but you get my drift. This law demonstrates how we create the things, events, and people that come into our lives. Our thoughts, feelings, words, and actions produce energies which in turn attract like energies. In other words, negative attracts negative and positive attracts positive. When referencing this particular law, people usually interpret it to mean that if we think positively about something we want, then it happens. Well, this is partially right and partially wrong all at the same time. A lot of what we hear when someone is teaching someone to use this law in their favor is if you visualize it over and over, then it will come to you. Well, how that is right is yes. You have to keep your goal firmly fixed in your mind, and you have to do it with positive reinforcement, such as this is mine. Affirmations, in other words. And you need to keep a visual of that goal in your mind at all times. However it is, it presents itself. Okay. This could mean that if you want a new house, then you have to keep a picture of that house in your mind, right down to every minor detail, up to and including the color of the carpet you want. If you want money, then yes, you have to keep some sort of visual of that in your mind, whether it is literally stacks of money or a visual of what you would like your bank statement to look like. You also have to positively reinforce that somehow in your mind. Affirmations, as I just said, or just repeating it to yourself over and over again, or write it down on an index card where you can just pull it out and look at it several times a day. These affirmations, or whatever you have to be spoken out aloud. These affirmations or whatever have to be spoken out loud. Remember, God spoke the universe into existence. Hint, hint. However, as I said before, you have to remember this is not the only universal law. You will have to find and maintain a sense of oneness with the people and world around you. It is all connected. You will have to fill yourself with positive vibrations in order to align yourself with the universe, since all things move in a circular pattern and have a vibrational frequency all its own. You will have to take some sort of action to achieve your goals or desires. You will have to show up for work or apply for that dream job or start your own business. If you are in vibrational harmony with the universe and your desires, you will be intuitively drawn to someone or something, but it will be on you to act on that. If you want good, you have to put forth good, because that exists in the physical world also exists in the corporeal world. You have to make sure that whatever action, thought, or word slash words drive you, they are the right ones so that you see rewards and not consequences. You have to recognize and realize that any change for the positive or towards your goal is preferable to no change or to bad change. No matter how subtle the change is, look for it and recognize it and stay vigilant on the right path. These all come into play and are absolutely vital to the rewards and path to the law of attraction. As a sum of all the parts, they are the law of attraction. Hope y'all understand that. As a sum of all the parts, meaning the law of attraction will not work in and of itself. Chapter 8, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Now this is a big one. This is a big one. All right, let me get into it. Okay. I know most of you just read that and said, huh? You probably even read it more than once and are still wondering what the hell that is. Well, let's break it down into smaller parts. The sum of the whole, so to speak. The word perpetual means constant, never ending. The word transmutation means ongoing process of changing one thing into another. And then we discussed energy earlier, but just to recap and maybe clarify a little better, everything is made of energy. And a simple version of the definition of energy is an object or objects which can be transformed into something else. Now that we got all of that out the way, this law states that everyone has within them the power to change the conditions of their lives. We'll read that again. Everyone has within them the power to change the conditions of their lives. When you are in tune with the higher, more powerful vibrations, they will consume the lower ones, making them obsolete. The lower ones being the negative vibrations you emit and that are emitted around you. Company you keep is important. You can change you can change your energy and vibrations by understanding these laws and applying them to your daily life. It didn't say the law of attraction. For my diehards, them, plural. They work together in unison, not individually. Some do, but that one particularly, it works in unison, right? In other words, you have the perpetual, ongoing, never-ending power to transform or transmutate the energies within you, therefore changing the energies and vibrations around you to attract what it is you seek and desire. Fuck everything and everybody else. Let's just take that out the equation. It don't matter if you got 100 haters. It don't matter if you got 1,000 haters. It don't matter if you got a bunch of people that's envious of you. It don't matter if you got 1 million people that want your downfall. What do you want? What do you think? What do you believe? What do you see for yourself? What do you know about yourself? Your actions is going to dictate that. How you move it. Okay. When you transform to the higher energies and vibrations, when you align yourself with the positive and good, that is what will begin to consume you and become you, and that will overpower the negative in your thoughts, words, and actions. This definitely takes time and relearning. This is the outcome of perseverance and aligning yourself with the universe. This is what will effect change. Okay. Chapter 9, the law of relativity. This is the kind of sucky law that everyone hates, but it is what it is. This is the law that states that everyone will receive a set of problems, tests of initiation, or lessons for the purpose of strengthening character, of producing a light within. Say that one more time. This is the law that states that everyone will receive a set of problems, tests of initiation, or lessons for the purpose of strengthening character, of producing a light within. If we look at each of these as a learning experience and manage to stay connected to our very spirit, soul, and heart, and proceed to find a way to solve the problem in a positive manner, while at the same time being grateful for the lesson and the capacity to solve it, and then solve it each time, our inner strength, character, or light will manage to raise to the next vibrational level. I gotta read that again too. See, this is an important one. It's important that y'all get this. You understand what I'm saying? So, you can stop looking at things the way you probably were looking at them if this is the first time you're coming into this information. All right. If we look at each of these as a learning experience and manage to stay connected to our very spirit, soul, and heart, and proceed to find a way to solve the problem in a positive manner, while at the same time being grateful for the lesson and the capacity to solve it, and then solve it each time, our inner strength, character, or light will manage to raise to the next vibrational level. I told you, everything is cyclical or cyclic. I use cyclical all the time, but cyclic, whichever way you want to deal with it, but y'all get what I'm putting down. Everything, the golden ratio, if you know, you know. Everything mimics that. Everything is in constant motion. Okay. This is also the law that states we have to keep things in perspective. That's a heavy word. Shout out to my bro. Turned me on to that word. This is the law that states we have to keep things in perspective. No matter how hard our life is, someone somewhere has it much worse. Remember I told y'all, you got to start looking down instead of always looking up. When you're looking up, you're not in a state of you're not in a state of being grateful. You're looking at what you don't have. You ain't paying no mind to what you got. You might be blessed than everybody in your circumstance, in your situation. You might be the most blessed out of everybody, but you want more. Instead of being not content, but grateful for all that you do have. Anyway, when we burn the casserole, someone has nothing to eat. When we have a flat tire somewhere, someone has no car. When our kids are acting up, a parent somewhere just lost their child. This is keeping things in perspective. This process helps us to be more grateful and positive, therefore helping to attract what it is we are seeking. This is what I was talking about when I said earlier, if you are not seeing the results you are looking for, it may not be that it is not going to happen or that these laws are not in effect. It most likely is this law at play. If you have a problem, it is simply a test to move you to a higher frequency and keeping that problem in its proper perspective and proceeding to solve it is really only a test. Yes, it is frustrating, but it is necessary. You must come into tune with the physical and non-physical world around you, and sometimes putting you into position to reevaluate your circumstances and try something different is necessary for the grand design. What I say? Anybody that's been watching me, I said, look at Wi-Fi. You know it's real. You know it's in play. It's in action. It's actively working, but you can't see it. Yet you know it's real. Your consciousness, responsible for everything you see, hear, touch, taste, and smell, etc. But you can't see it. But you know it's real. I'm going to read that again. It says you must come into tune with the physical and non-physical world around you. And sometimes putting you into position to reevaluate your circumstances and try something different is necessary for the grand design. You see what I'm saying? Now, anybody that have been to any kind of school in the United States, y'all know that they don't teach us about this shit. So I only point that out because the slogan, unlearn and relearn, come on, man. They only teaching you what they want you to know, what it benefits them that you know. You got to change that. You know what I'm talking about? You can't just be a conduit for the oppressor, for the conqueror, because it's not in their benefit to empower you in any regard. Where a lot of times you think you're being empowered, you're going into debt. And mind you, they didn't teach you financial literacy to know how to use debt to build wealth. You understand? Come on, man. We gotta wake the fuck up. Anyway, we must recognize these tests or lessons for being just those, tests or lessons. They are not setbacks and they are not failures. They are not signs that the universe is against you or that you will never achieve what it is you are striving for. It simply means that in some aspect some area, you are weak and you need strengthening. Through the solving of a situation or problem, you learn something new. Therefore, you are now strengthened in that area and you can move one step closer to your goal. So be thankful for it and go forth and solve it and become a bit greater or stronger than you previously were. Chapter 10, the law of polarity. Excuse me, people. All right. Just as the law of correspondence states that everything in the physical world has a corresponding process in the non-physical world, the law of polarity states that everything also has an opposite. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Every positive thought has a negative thought. Every negative word has a positive word. Every positive action has a negative action. This can be incorporated into what you are trying to achieve by realizing when you have a negative thought, you need to stop that negative thought and instead concentrate on the positive thought because it does exist. This is put into place so that for every disaster we have a rebuilding. For every life that is unjustly taken, we have a system in place to punish that action. Common law, not this bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? For every terminal illness we have someone out there searching for a cure. Essentially, one cannot exist without the other. This is kind of the thought behind why do bad things happen, negative. Well, the answer will be so that the opposite can be recognized, spoken about, and a change will occur, positive. Mastering this process is what will bring everything about that is supposed to come about. This kind of states that if you don't like the way you feel or the direction your life is going, don't complain about it. Instead, do something about it. I said that on like the third video I did. I'm just saying, confirmation, man. Confirmation. I didn't know anything about these laws at that time. Or so I see, the soul knows more than we know. You get what I'm saying? Told you, sometimes information just comes to you. Don't have to come from a book. You can get clarity from a book, but sometimes you just know shit and don't even know how you know it. You just know you know it. However, you need to make sure that what you are doing about it is something positive and not negative. Remember, the law of cause and effect. This law can ultimately define how well you have learned this lesson in your life and what direction you want your life to take. Chapter 11, the law of rhythm. Y'all good? All right. This law states that everything vibrates or moves to certain rhythms. This is what establishes the seasons, phases of the moon, stages of development, as well as any and all patterns that are present. This is essentially the natural order of things. There are 24 hours in a day, 365 days in a year, etc. Regardless of what is going on in your daily life, these things do not change. This is absolute. This is the natural order of things. This is the regularity of the universe. This is perpetual. When you realize that everything runs on this rhythm, every vibration in the universe, every molecule of energy, every second of time, you will realize that this too shall pass. This is kind of like, don't sweat the small stuff. Take it for what it's worth to you, people. Since everything is modified and defined by vibration and energy, it is therefore, by definition, an essential part of this rhythm and is essential to the continuing cycle of life. If you are having a bad day, it is regulated by a vibration, be it good or bad. It is still regulated by vibration and energy. This is when you recognize this bad day as a learning experience, concentrate on the opposite of whatever is determining your bad day, change your perception and make it a good day and allow it to be part of a positive rhythm. When you realize this bad day is the outcome of an hour of this day, or a day of this week, or a week of this year. No, or a week of this month. They didn't put it like this, but I'm gonna go on with the cycle of how they were doing it. It says, when you realize this bad day is the outcome of an hour of this day, or a day of this week, or a week of this month, or a month of this year, when you realize that this will not last forever and this hour is only part of the 24 hours of this day, and that at the end of this 24-hour period, this day will end and a new one will begin. It is then you must take action, align yourself with the vibrations, act in a different way, and move on to achieve what it is you are trying to achieve. Control your emotions. Realize that they're going to come. They're inevitable. You're gonna experience emotion. How you deal with those emotions, how you view and perceive those emotions, the decisions that you decide to make based off experiencing those emotions make all the difference. It was a lesson. Now be grateful. You are stronger than you were 1 minute before the event happened, and try something different and move toward a different outcome. This is the natural order of the universe. It is what it is, people. Chapter 12, the law of gender. Okay. This is both very simple and very complicated. I call this simply complex. In nature, this law manifests as sex. The male plants the seed, the female fertilizes the seed and nurtures it until it comes into fruition, and then both have some part in the ongoing development and existence of that seed. One cannot exist without the other. This is yin and yang. I'm going to read that again. Hope y'all listening. Okay. This is both very simple and very complicated. I call this simply complex. In nature, not in your own mind, not in your opinion, in nature. This law manifests as sex. The male plants the seed. The female fertilizes the seed and nurtures it until it comes into fruition. And then both have some part in the ongoing development and existence of that seed. One cannot exist without the other. This is yin and yang. This law is where creation and life exist and thrive. Creation and life. One is light and the other is energy. Both are necessary for existence in and of itself. Without the masculine, the actual planting of the seed of creation of or life, you will not have anything to fertilize. Hold on. Without the masculine, the actual planting of the seed of creation or life, you will not have anything to fertilize, nurture, or bring into being. On the other side of that, if you only have the ability to nurture, fertilize, or manifest, but you don't have the seed or the beginning of anything, then nothing exists. The masculine, the yang, must embrace the female, the yin. The female yin must accept the masculine yang. If these things do not happen, then the natural order of things cannot exist and therefore cannot be carried out. As I said, both are necessary for anything to exist, space, time, or existence. This is the ultimate supreme law, the beginning and the end. Each of these has a specific purpose to ensure the outcome of the grand design, and they must be acknowledged and embraced for anything to manifest. In conclusion, I know for some of you this may seem repetitive, but if you really sit down and think about it and study it, you will realize that each of these laws are slightly different. Yet they are all the same, because essentially the universe is just that. It is always changing, but above all, it stays the same. It changes as more it changes in as more people become aware that these laws exist and they are absolute. The sense of divine oneness will become more prevalent in the universe because of the added strength, and oneness will begin to emit stronger vibrations and energies, and these laws will become more intense and will quickly begin to manifest the actual desires so that the final outcome can be achieved. The greater good, so to speak. As we become more aware of these laws and utilize them in our individual daily lives, the collective will become one person, one vibrational energetic field stronger. And as more people embrace this, the world will begin to change. Less violence and death, fewer disasters and tragedy, and all the bad will begin to shift to the good until the outcome of an enlightened, peaceful, loving collective is achieved. This is just basic overview of these laws. The truth is, there is more and more being discovered every day. You could study this subject for years and always learn something new. I hope you take the time and energy to learn about these laws, because they are absolute. They are undeniable and unchangeable. When you learn how to harness and utilize these powers that are within each and every one of us, you will see your life change, and it will change for the better. Okay. All right. That's it. So I'm going to read the back of it so y'all can, get everything that it was meant to be conveyed. It says 12 laws, 12 secrets. Learn the exact strategies to implement the law of attraction into your life. By using the 12 universal laws, you can take your life to the next level. This book reveals the methods needed to truly reap the benefits of the law of attraction. Christine Erickson is an expert at the law of attraction, but she is an even better teacher, helping others unleash their full potential. So, as is always, man, it's my intention, it's my hope that this resonated with some folks, and that said folks can extract benefit from the information that was conveyed and shared. So, not to hold y'all, I'm in and out like a robbery. Y'all be easy. Go on.